Today's participants are MEG COLADO, and Kevin Belfield. We join their conversation in the faculty lounge.
It's a very competitive conference.
So how do you compete for the athletes? With all
like
the big
like
schools
you,
and-
we struggle, I think, with name brand recognition right now as well. But you know, it's just getting after those recruits. It's being in the gym. It's exposure. It's winning and losing. It's you know, your team's ability to market themselves when we bring recruits on campus. It's the big package. But it's sitting in the gym and getting the right kids that can play for you.
So do you recruit nationwide?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think it's easy to recruit to Florida. A lot of Midwest kids and, you know, Northeast kids, and they just want to come to sunny Florida. So that part is easy. Geographically, it's an easy sell. And the volleyball in the state has come so far in such a short period of time that a lot of local kids want to stay close to home, which is, you know, to our benefit as well.
Yeah. So what are the big challenges coaching the women?
Well, I think dealing with mass numbers of young women is a challenge. Trying to formulate group work ethic, group work, cooperative work is a challenge, and I'm sure it is in chemistry, trying to find, you know, people who work well together. And I think that's the challenge. And when you have that many young women, it can be ultra competitive, or it can be too friendly. You know, you can have sort of different ends of the spectrum, but it's finding the right niche to get the most out of each one of them, so that the group as a whole will succeed.
So have you found you've had very talented individuals where you end up having to sort of form a team, or maybe compromise some other talents to form a team around them?
You know, our program, we haven't done that. We haven't had one. A lot of programs have one, typically in our conference, have one international player who's superior to their teammates. And we haven't really gone that route. We have had good, solid players all around, and we haven't had really to compromise. We've certainly had people that have excelled beyond expectation, but none physically that you would look at and say, okay, let's build around her. We've sort of done it as a group, and it's been a different dynamic. I mean, it's been very interesting, and I think our teams have liked that about what we've done.
The dynamics among people are it's very interesting.
Do you have that in your
labs?
In
in the research laboratory, you know, of course, people are motivated and bright and very independent, and but they also need to, at times, rely on one another.
Sure.
You know, although we're not we do have interdisciplinary teams, and they do work together, but they don't work necessarily simultaneously in concert. But they do have to coexist, and if they want to accomplish more than what they could do individually, they have to learn to work well with each other. And it's very interesting when they walk in the door, and you see the attitudes that the students have, and then what they're like, you know, 4 or 5 years later when they graduate. You know, they've really matured, and sometimes you'd like to have some of those first year moments on tape. I'm sure they wouldn't like that. But,
no.
But it's quite interesting.
How have you found today's student as opposed to students from 10 years ago?
There are some differences, but I think a lot of the differences are that I hear, particularly folks that have been in the education business longer. They tend to be perhaps a bit more alarmed at the students coming in. But I find that there's always this the sentiment that the newer generations of students are somehow less prepared and less capable than the previous ones. I heard it as a student. You know, I remember professors griping about these young students, they don't, their math is not as good, their science is not as good, they're not working as hard, and I hear the same complaints now, but I don't think the students are any less capable. I think there's a lot more distractions that they have. I remember on Friday nights, when we got done with classes, you could go to the gym and play basketball and things like that. There wasn't the internet, and there weren't all the video games and those kind of distractions. And kids have that now 24 hours a day. Right. And I think it's a lot for students, particularly when they go away from home for the first time, to handle. And that first year, particularly the first semester, is, I think, one of the things that we have to do in addition to educate them is kind of guide them through maturing, know. And that's something that is so variable among students. But I don't think the aptitude is any less than it ever has been in students. Sure. But there's a different type of distraction that students have, and it's a matter of harnessing that. And I find, at a university like UCF that is new, and some folks don't know that much about it. I think when people get here, they realize the opportunities here are pretty tremendous. But the students that we attract, particularly at the graduate level, may not be the students that we would like to lure away, the ones that go to Harvard and Wisconsin and other big schools. However, my philosophy is you play the hand you're dealt with. You have a certain group of kids, and they're all, if they weren't capable, they wouldn't be college material. Right. They wouldn't have qualified to get admitted, whether they're undergraduate or graduate. Right. And it's our challenge to take it and shape it and make the best, get the best outcome, that we can, and then help the students mature and develop. And if they don't all become Ivy League caliber folks that go on to careers or graduate school or professional schools in the Ivies, well, so be it, But we likely will have some that will make it that route, and the ones that don't, as long as we've done our job to help mature them, they'll do okay.
Where are you from?
From upstate New York originally, the Syracuse area.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up in the land of the Orangemen, the other orange and blue.
Right, exactly. What was your path?
I went and did my undergraduate work at Rochester Institute of Technology, and there was, I can sympathize very, very much with the student athletes, because I went there on a cross-country scholarship and majored in chemistry as
that's a tough
as
tandem.
Something that perhaps wasn't the priority. Going to compete was the top priority. Yeah. And then after some time, realizing that there was likely better job prospects in chemistry than track or cross country, decided to put a little bit more time into that. Yeah. But it was actually a very good experience, and the demands on the student athletes are tremendous. The amount of time, it certainly helped me in the classroom, because when students would come to me with their notes that they had to miss a class or a test because of traveling, to a meet or a match, sure. I have no problem accepting that. Yeah. But that's not universal among faculty.
No, it's not. It's not.
But I understand that's part of their routine. What they need to do. They're expected. They're on a team. They're on a scholarship. They're expected to go and compete. Yeah. But I think it's a good, certainly a good experience. And from what I find, UCF is quite supportive of that. I think there's a lot of resources to help support the student athletes, and it's certainly a big part of the university, I think, to help promote the athletics and the academic part of the athletes.
Sure. Good. Did you do grad school?
Yeah, I went back to Syracuse for grad school, and it was a quite enjoyable experience. And of course, being a basketball fan, the basketball's been quite entertaining at Syracuse through the years. And then went out to Harvard for postdoctorate work, and got a taste of what what life was like in Boston and Harvard, and then went up to Detroit. I was at University of Detroit Mercy. It's a small Jesuit school, and was there for about 6 years before coming here.
Oh, wow.
And so I went from a school that had about 4,000 students
Right.
to one with 28,000 at the time. It came in '98, and now
Yeah.
over 47,000.
Right.
It's a very different environment, very nice environment.
Where's your wife? Is your wife from?
She's from China.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, originally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's from sort of south central part of China, big city there. And Orlando's a new experience, but a welcome one. It's a nice. There's a lot to offer in the Orlando area.
Is she follow your passion, your science, chemistry passion?
No, she's got a computer science background, but she got influenced by the dark side and went the business way. So she has a master's degree in accounting.
Okay.
And so it's on the business side of the fence.
And this is your first child, so.
Actually, I have an older son from previous marriage,
Okay.
and he's 14, just about 15,
Yeah.
in first year high school. And
Oh, exciting.
yeah. So,
Where is he?
he goes up to Seminole High in Sanford in the IB International Baccalaureate program, and so he's doing well, and he's a math elite.
Yeah.
So they have what I found in Florida. Of course, I just being involved in track and cross country athletics, I wasn't very interested in math myself, and so my high school may well have had math teams, but he's gotten very involved in that, and they have competitions, and they have a coach, and they treat it. It's been quite interesting to go see. They treat it similar to an event.
Really?
They have invitationals, and a bunch of schools show up, and they're not running around. They're sitting with pencil and paper, but they have awards and trophies and things like that afterwards.
That's great.
So they compete, and he was in Tallahassee last weekend at a high school in Tallahassee for a competition. Okay. So how about you? Do you have family here?
I do. I met my husband up in Charlotte, and he's actually born and raised in Winter Park, so that's where we live, and we have 3 children, and he works at a community bank with his father, and very much rooted into Winter Park. I'm from New Orleans originally, and so socially that city is incredibly small, and so it's been really nice to be able to be a transplant Floridian and live here and have wonderful community to come into.
So where do you see the volleyball program going now?
I see it going to the top 25.
Really?
I do, and that's not a short-term fix by any means. I mean, it's going to take some time, and it's going to take some commitments from a lot of different parts of the university. Funding for one, as our football team exposes us, we get more name recognition as we recruit more top rated athletes. I think that this university has as much to sell as a lot of schools in the top 25, academically for sure. So I do. That's where we want to go. That's where our administration wants us to go, and I think UCF is the type of school that can offer that to student athletes. So it will not be an easy task, but it'll be one. It'll be pretty exciting to get it there for sure.
So are all the women that compete on your team on scholarships?
Not all of them. We have the full allotment, which is 12 scholarships, but we do have a couple walk-ons. In fact, next year we'll have quite a few walk-ons.
Oh, I see.
I think that's good when you can have such great walk-ons that can offer something unique and positive to the program. It's really beneficial.
So are the 12 scholarships, is that a number set by the NCAA?
It is.
It
is, yeah.
Now, will you be playing in the new Convocation Center?
We will probably for the 07 season, just because the arena that we're currently in, where men's and women's basketball is currently in, will be renovated this season, so the '07 season. So we'll all move to the Convocation Center, and then when it's all said and done, the basketballs will stay in the Convocation Center, and volleyball will be in the arena only. So that's another bonus for the volleyball program, is that we will have our own facility, which a lot of teams in the top 25 don't even have. They share their facility with the basketballs, like most schools in the country. So it's great. I mean, it's the commitment to facilities athletically is fantastic. I mean, I don't know if you've been to the north side of campus to check out all the facilities, but it's beautiful. I mean, it truly is becoming an Olympic Village type atmosphere, and it really is second to none. I mean, it's really.
Yeah, I drive out that exit every day.
Yeah,
I live up in Oviedo.
Okay, but, so you see the stadium coming up, and
so all the athletes use the Wayne Dench Center.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Yes.
I've heard it's quite impressive.
It is very impressive. It is very impressive. It's huge, and the wait staff's really good. The two head guys that George O'Leary brought in with him are fabulous, and I just think they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I heard when it was from one of the football games where there was I think ESPN coverage. One of the announcers was making a comment about he had been on campus, I guess, before the game, and they toured him around, and he was very, very impressed. The Wayne Dench Center, and I guess there's in one of the new towers there's dormitories for the athletes apparently. And
well, not exclusively just for the athletes. It is most of our athletes do live in the towers. But the towers are incredible. It's apartment style living. It's either 4-4 or 4-2. Just huge rooms with double beds, the bathroom essentially for two people on either side. It's like a split floor plan. And then a nice sized common area with a dishwasher, refrigerator, sink. I mean, it's truly an apartment, which I think can be tough for incoming freshmen who have come from their parents' cooking and now have to cook on their own because they don't have a centralized cafeteria yet, which they will be having soon. But I think, part of the maturation process that you were talking about as incoming freshmen, for us, our season's in the fall. So you have to come in, you have to know how to cook or at least feed yourself, because your apartment, you don't have a cafeteria right there. Jump into academics and then get ready to practice and play. There's a lot that goes into that first semester. I mean, I know that you find also, and then we're asking them to excel on the court as well. So it is a lot.
You have freshmen that start?
We
regularly?
did this year.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah. And we probably will next year as well. Just a really talented group of young girls that are just good, deserve to be out there.
Are there academic challenges that the student athletes face in volleyball that are tough to overcome, for example, for traveling for games and things?
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part, is entering this conference. We leave on Thursdays and we don't return until Sunday nights, and so you miss your Thursday, Friday classes are generally missed, and that's tough for anybody. We have a biology major who struggles. She's in the honors college and she's a 4.0 student, but she struggles at the fact that she has to miss so much class. In the month of October, we were gone 3 of the 4 weekends, and that happened last year and this year as well. So, it's just a lot of Thursday, Friday classes missed, and that, of course, you can't help with this. But otherwise, it's just maintaining your schedule and balancing it all. And these girls have done it mostly because they've played for so long. They know how to balance their schoolwork and their academics. Fortunately, we've had a lot of bright kids, so we've been able to handle a very high team GPA and be successful off the court. So and for the most part, the teachers are fantastic about excusing the student athletes. You always have your 1 or 2 that aren't that interested in their kids missing class, which I can understand. But for the most part, the faculty's been incredible and very supportive.
Are there athletic programs that you see on the horizon at UCF beyond the ones that are currently in place?
That is the talk, is it's adding another female sport just for gender equity purposes. And there's been rumor of a few different sports popping up, but none that have, nobody's sunken their teeth into a new sport yet. Talk of bowling, and there was talk of equestrian. and swimming and diving. So all of those would be great. I mean, I don't know much about bowling, but I know that our club team is national champs.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
Wow.
yes. So that would be an easy transition, I think, for those girls. Equestrian, we certainly have plenty of land around here. And then swimming and diving, of course, in the state of Florida would be a natural, other than the fact that it costs quite a lot of money to have to finance a pool and a team. But I don't know what's going to be the next part.
I imagine that the Title IX has been something that's been very beneficial to help create equity.
Absolutely.
With the genders in the sports, because I know when I was an athlete, there were at RIT and then at Syracuse, there was always a conflict and always a struggle. As the percentage of female enrollees at the undergraduate level started gaining parity with male enrollees, there was always this the complaints that why do we only have a couple of female sports?
Right.
And maybe they would have some club teams and that. But I think it's from what, at least in my experience in the sciences, and that if something isn't really imposed or mandated, then if it's just a suggestion, then well, it goes the way of a lot of good intentions.
Right. Right.
But it looks to me like it really has been quite effective.
I think our administration has done a really good job of making sure that's been enforced here, and it's a continuing process. It's a continuing advancement for women in athletics, and it's been wonderful for all of our student athletes. As long as the men's programs aren't getting cut to make those numbers, it's a great thing for women.
Quite a variety of sports provides a lot of opportunities. And lets UCF bring in, students that they probably wouldn't have brought in otherwise.
So where do you go from here with your newest discovery? Well,
we're the area of work that we're in. We're harnessing a certain type of laser photochemistry. So we're using lasers to drive some chemistry, and we've developed this method and the materials for basically the next generation of DVD for optical storage. But we're also using the same principles to develop imaging agents for biological imaging. And what we're trying to do is develop the technique, just like one might read out information on a disc, to have probes that could be injected into, say, an area where tumors are suspected, and they'll have very high specificity for tumors, and then they could be imaged much the same way.
Wow.
One could focus a laser in without radiation treatment, without the methodology that uses the radioactive materials to visualize where tumors are. One can optically do that, interrogate it with a laser source. But it's what's nice about it. It uses exactly the same technique as for the data storage, but we're changing the chemicals, basically changing the agents. We're changing them to be to target tumors and not healthy cells, so that we can irradiate it shine a laser on and basically scan over an area, and then where we see it fluoresce, where we see light come out, that's where the tumor is. And then we're following that up with an agent that will go to the same spot once we diagnose where the tumor is. It will have the same chemical functionality to also target the tumor, but the rest of the molecule is different. So when we shine the light on it, it generates a cytotoxic species which kills the cells. So as long as it's localized in the tumor, then it will just kill wherever one exposes with a laser, will kill the tumor cells. So we're developing both cancer diagnostic probes and the therapeutics. And then one has much less side effects because it's non-invasive. The type of laser and the wavelength penetrates through the skin, and so one doesn't have to make an incision. And then just simply irradiate where the tumor is, and one has gotten that information by the probe that we've designed. And so there's less collateral damage to healthy tissue and cells, and fewer side effects.
That's incredible.
So that's sort of our longer range work that we're doing.
Do you team with other universities with this, or is this just your sole project?
One thing that's been nice at UCF and what drew me here was our world famous School of Optics, and we have a lot of optical and laser scientists. And my background is primarily in chemistry and optical materials. I've been able to partner with scientists in optics. I share laboratories with people in optics and have a joint appointment actually there. And so we're able to do just about everything here. And now with the expansion of our life sciences at UCF, we've hired very good cell biologists and neuroscientists. And so we're beginning to work with them where we develop the probes in our labs, and then they incubate them with certain types of cells. And then we do the imaging, the biological imaging, and the therapeutics with those. So it's been quite